We are live. What's up, man? Let me get some people up in here. I'm gonna put it on mute real quick. Let some people get a chance to get in here. What's up? What's up? Dustin Poirier versus McGregor. McGregor coming back from after defeating Cowboy Cerrone, and he defeated him pretty easily. I thought Cowboy was gonna put up a better fight than that. I was surprised how McGregor beat him. He caught him with his shoulder, and he was able to he broke Cowboy Cerrone nose with that shoulder. He kind of like hit him with his shoulder when Cowboy Cerrone was kind of resting his face on his shoulder, which was a nice move. Very, very, very nice move because he was able to get Cowboy Cerrone out of his game by hitting him with that nose shot. If you ever got hit in the nose, I used to box, so I sparred a lot. If you get hit in the nose on on a button, like right on the button, man, that stuff is no joke. It waters up your eyes immediately. It can give you a slight headache for a little while until your nose, get back, you know, back adjusted. But yeah, man, he probably broke his nose too. I never had a broken nose. I had a really, really sore nose, but never a broken nose, to my knowledge. But he's fighting Dustin Poirier. He fought him already. They fought before. They fought a long time ago. Dustin Poirier was like 26 and Conor McGregor was like 25. And it was a pretty decent fight in the first round. That round was a pretty decent round. Dustin Poirier actually landed some really good shots, but Conor McGregor caught him with a counter hook and kind of, dazed Dustin Poirier, and the fight was just about over. Because one thing about MMA, when you get dazed, because you can kick people, you know what I'm saying? When they start leaning down or they get wobbled, you can kick them down, trip them, you can slam them. So there's so many ways to finish a guy once a guy gets, wobbly or dizzy in MMA opposed to boxing. When all you can do is boxing is all you can do is keep punching them. You know what I'm saying? You can't grab them, can't throw them down. But I don't know how this fight gonna go. Usually in a boxing setting, the guy that wins the first fight usually wins the second fight easier. But that's only one form, of way of fighting. In mixed martial arts in the UFC, they have so many ways to beat you. They can beat you with an elbow, kick, knees, slamming you to the ground, submissions, a lot of things, a lot of ways to beat you. So just because you beat a guy in the first fight in MMA doesn't mean you're gonna beat them in the second fight like boxing. Boxing is kind of like you can look at it and say, well, what more can that guy do to this fighter? You know what I'm saying? With just his hands. And usually it's not a whole lot he can do. In mixed martial arts, it's 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 things that they can do. You know what I'm saying? It's things you can do to change up your game. You know what I'm saying? Dustin Poirier, he said he's a better fighter since then. I haven't been following his career like that. I seen a couple of his fights. I seen the Khabib fight. Both of these guys got a couple guys that they fought, you know what I'm saying, in common. You know, both of them lost to Khabib. Both of them fought Max Holloway, and both of them fought Eddie Alvarez, and both of them defeated Eddie Alvarez and Max Holloway. So those were the three fights that they got kind of in common. We know Khabib dominated both of them, really. You know what I'm saying? It was really a, you know, Khabib fight. You know, he gets you down. You can't get up. You can't get up after that. Hold on, y'all. Okay, y'all, I'm back. But yeah, both, you know, both of them got dominated by Khabib. Khabib dominates just about everybody he fights with that you know, the wrestling he has is, you know, almost second to none. But Conor McGregor said that he's going to finish this fight quicker. Dustin Poirier said, "Hey, I'm a better fighter." I mean, we'll just have to, you know, see how the fight turns out. I'm gonna get an edge to McGregor because he won the first fight. You know, from a mental standpoint, in any sport that you compete in, the mental aspect is a big, you know, it's a big thing. You can get into someone's head. You can say, "Hey, I already beat you. I beat you once. I can beat you again." Now it all depends on how that other person deals with the loss. Has Poirier compartmentalized that loss and say, "Okay, boom, he beat me. I'm a better fighter now." And does he believe he's a better fighter? That's the thing. He could be a better fighter, but does he believe that he's a better fighter? You know, that's another thing. He has to believe that he's a better fighter to be able to go in there and, like I said, compartmentalize the first loss and going in and do what he has to do in the second fight. Poirier, yeah, he can go in there and beat Conor. You know what I'm saying? Conor has trouble going down to the ground. You know what I'm saying? If you stand up with Conor, he's dangerous. Even though Nate Diaz was able to beat him in the stand up, and then Conor was able to come back in the second fight. The second fight was a close fight. Now it was real close. I had Nate Diaz winning that fight. But the judges gave it to Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor was doing some nice counter punching in that fight. I thought Nate Diaz had the more work rate and landing the more punches. Now, Conor McGregor was landing the heavier punches because Nate Diaz, he doesn't throw with full power. He throws like those kind of slap you punches, but they hurt. I'm not going to say they don't hurt. I'm not going to say they hurt. And but in that type of fight, in that type of setting, if Nate Diaz didn't knock him down, or because he did knock Nate Diaz down, and he was landing the heavier shots, Conor McGregor is a heavy puncher, a heavy-handed puncher. Can Dustin Poirier? He's going to have to mix it up. Now he got heavy hands himself. Dustin Poirier can fight. He can punch. He has heavy hands. They're on the level of Conor McGregor. Now, I think Conor McGregor is probably the best counter puncher in the UFC. It's some guys that can use their hands pretty good. Max Holloway, he uses his hands pretty good. Like I said, Nate Diaz, both of the Diaz brothers use their hands pretty good. It's some guys in the UFC, Dustin Poirier, that use their hands pretty good. Even Khabib hand game has improved. Justin Gaethje can use his hands pretty good. Who else? What's that guy name, man? He can use his hands pretty good too. It's some guys that can really use their hands pretty good, but I think Conor McGregor is the best counter puncher. Hold on. Yeah, I think because he does that pull counter. That's what Conor McGregor, he does that pull counter. You punch, boom, he leans back a little bit, he just comes right back with his punch. Like you can't a pull counter, you can't pause. As soon as the guy, like, it's like you got a rhythm. Boom, you're moving side to side. Boom, the guy throws a punch. Boom, you take a little slight, either a step back, or you just pull back a little bit with your head and your body, and then you just boom, you just throw your punch like right off of theirs. And a lot of times that's when people get hurt. They get hurt off of counters because after you throw your punch, it's coming back to your face. Your vision is slightly obscured, and the guy comes with his punch straight down the middle, and usually hits you. That can be a problem for Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier, he's not a slickster type guy in the ring. You know, he's not slithery in the octagon as far as his stand up. It's all power, it's all brute force. He's pretty good at what he does. With Conor McGregor, you're gonna have to get him down on the ground. You're just gonna have to get him to the ground. Nate Diaz choked him out in their first encounter. Like I said, Khabib choked him out. You know what I'm saying? That's when he has his problems. He has his problems when a guy can get on top of him. He can't really defend himself. Now they say every time McGregor has a fight to build up to a fight, and he fights a guy that can go down to the ground, he always says that he's improved on his ground game. Now, one thing that he did good versus Khabib, he did do good as far as he did give Khabib a lot of resistance. But, Khabib eventually got what he wanted. You know what I'm saying? Because he eventually gets what he wants. So he was able to resist Khabib to a certain extent. A lot of people was giving him credit for that. I just thought he got dominated in the fight. Some people say he won one of the rounds. He could have won one of the rounds. I think that one round when they were standing up, maybe round 2 or 3, one of those rounds they did stand up, and Conor McGregor was doing good. But Khabib did knock him down with a punch. It wasn't McGregor that knocked Khabib down with a punch. It was the other way around. That's why I say Khabib dominated the fight, because Khabib did what he wanted to do on the feet. He won the foot game versus Conor McGregor, which that was supposed to have been Conor McGregor's, thing. That's his thing in stand up. And then he just dominated him on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Conor McGregor could, like I said, he did give him some resistance, but he couldn't do anything offensively. He didn't. When a guy gets you on the ground, you can still try to get some offense off. He didn't get no offense off. And once Khabib, did what he did on the ground, it was just about over. Because I used to wrestle in high school, and one thing about wrestling, it takes a lot of energy out of you, like a lot. Wrestling is kind of like swimming. You ever swam laps in the pool and then get out that pool, feel like you just don't have any energy left? That's what wrestling does to you, because it's both guys trying to put their enforce their will on each other. And you will find out a lot of wrestlers are strong. Like, I mean, yeah, a lot of them do look strong, but there's some that's kind of scrawny, but they're just strong. They're just physically strong, because all they do all day is just grab each other, pull, push, pull, all day, every day, countless days in a row. And I wrestled only 1 year in high school, but I used to wrestle my friends and stuff like that. And I was always a really thin person, but I used to always like pick people up and slam them. But and that's what wrestling does. That's why wrestlers transition better when they come into UFC than the people with the stand up. Because when you're on the ground, yes, you have to worry about getting submitted. Yes, that's a thing. But when you're standing up, you have to worry about knees, flying knees, elbows, kicks to the head, which is the most dangerous thing, is the kicks to the head, because it's so many knockouts in the UFC, kicks to the head. Because when they kick you, they kind of either they hit you in the chin, that's like on the button, or they kick you so high they hit you in the temple, and it just cuts your lights out just like that. You have no equilibrium left, and usually guys are knocked out from that kick. You remember the up kick Anderson Silva did he did an up kick. He did like one of those foot up kicks and kicked them with a heel. And that was before he kicked him with an up kick. So you got to worry about that when you're standing up. A wrestler, You know what I'm saying? If a guy really don't have like if a guy really not comfortable on his back, when wrestlers, get you on your back, that can be dangerous. And like I said, that's why they can transition better to the UFC. Daniel Cormier, um, not Kasim Uma, my fault. Um, Usman. That's why he can do it. The other guy, what's his name, that fought Uzma, he can. That's why he can do it. It's a lot of guys that transition. They got that heavy wrestling background that can come up in there, and all they have to do is learn to stand up. I'm not gonna say that's all you have to learn how to do is to stand up, because I'm not saying it's easy to learn to stand up, but you can learn to land, a decent punch on someone. You can learn. You don't have to have the fastest hands, because in the UFC those gloves are very, very light. It feel like I had a pair of those type of gloves on. You could just punch harder, because with boxing gloves, it's a certain amount of cushion in there. It's not a whole lot, but it's a certain amount of cushion in there, a certain amount of thickness in the gloves. But the UFC gloves, it's kind of like knuckles. It's kind of like, it's not like you hitting someone with knuckles, but it's and you can ball your fists up better than you can in gloves. But McGregor, he says, the funny thing about McGregor is, man, he was Adrian Hawanier was asking him about the Khabib fight. He said he don't really think Khabib won the fight, because really the announcer did not announce him being the winner, and he did not get the belt put on him, and all this stuff. He didn't get the belt presented to him inside the ring, and he said that Khabib is not really a champion. Now, he is the champion. He won the fight. Yes, he jumped the fence. Probably shouldn't have jumped the cage, and he got suspended. He got fined heavily. I believe he got fined like 100,000 or 200,000, something like that, 250,000, some crazy number. But at first he was talking about taking his whole purse. But I know what Conor trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Conor is trying to sell the second fight, because I think Khabib, he said he don't want to fight Conor again. You know what I'm saying? He said it after the first time, after he beat him. He said, I already beat him. I want to fight him again. Now Conor will have to come out and have that first round knockout, impressive win versus Poirier, to probably try to get Khabib back in the ring, in the octagon. Khabib said that he's looking for someone to wow him, for him to come back. He's not going to just come back for anyone. They kept saying that he was going to fight George St. Pierre. Now Dana White came out and said that fight is not going to happen. Those two guys, I guess, don't want the fight to happen. I would have loved to see that fight, love to see that matchup, because George St. Pierre is well-rounded, stand up and on the ground. And I would have loved to see how George St. Pierre deals with Khabib, trying to keep him. When Khabib get a hold of him and Khabib try to hold him down, what can George St. Pierre do? I would have loved to see that matchup. Now, I would have been in anticipation to see that matchup. It could still happen, because things change. You know what I'm saying? In sports, things can change from hour to hour, day to day, week to week, month to month. So we'll see what happens with this fight. If McGregor don't beat Poirier, of course he's not gonna get the Khabib fight. I don't think Khabib want to fight Poirier again. If he fight again, he has to probably, the purse has to be real good, and fight McGregor, that's a big purse. You know what I'm saying? Seeing how the first fight ended, how some people say, well, Conor McGregor was coming off a long layoff. If he'd had more time, he would have did better. Now, I know y'all heard me say in the beginning that in the UFC, unlike boxing, in the UFC, in boxing, usually the person that wins the first fight usually wins the second fight quicker. And I told you that in the UFC, the reason why I don't really go by that code in the UFC is because you can win in so many different categories. And that's true. You can win in so many different categories and you can use so many weapons. That's why in the UFC, it's not necessarily a guy is going to beat the guy in the second fight because he beat him in the first fight. What I'm going to say is this. Khabib, because he does what he do, and I don't see Conor McGregor being able to do anything different in the second fight if him and Khabib fight. I don't see what Conor McGregor can do different because Khabib has gotten better on his feet, but Khabib is not going to fight Conor McGregor strictly on his feet. We all know he's going to get him up against the fence and pull him down. When he pulls him down, now I think they fought like almost 2 years ago. Even if Conor McGregor been working on his ground game this whole time, he don't have enough time to catch up with Khabib as far as being able to counter what Khabib does. What Khabib does, you would have to have a seasoned wrestler with a lot of experience. And even then, those guys will have a whole lot of trouble dealing with Khabib. Because if you're going to say Khabib going to stand up in there with Conor McGregor, okay, Conor McGregor got a great chance of winning. But Khabib is not going to do that. He's going to pull him down to the ground. He's going to end up choking Conor McGregor out again. It's just that, I see what Conor doing. He's just trying to sell a second fight. I know I heard Chael Sonnen when he said on his podcast that Conor McGregor is doing something brilliant. He's saying he's trying to put in the new fans' head because it's new fans, that comes in and out of your sport. In the UFC is fast growing sport. So it's new fans since that 2 years ago. And he's trying to get these new fans on board with him that he can beat Khabib this time. I don't think he can beat Khabib. Will the fight sell like it did the first time? It probably will, because some people would say Conor did fairly good in the first fight. That's what people will try to sell. And they will say that Conor seeing Khabib and he will be able to deal with him getting down on the ground, which I don't see that, man. I don't see him being able to deal with getting on the ground because what I just told y'all, Khabib, even seasoned wrestlers have a hard time with him. So how is Conor McGregor going to deal with him putting him on the ground? It's not gonna, to me, it's not gonna end well. But it's a big payday. It's a big payday for both of them. It may outsell the first one. It may outsell their first numbers. Who knows? It may do that because, like I said, Conor has a big following. Khabib has a bigger following. Now, since Khabib beat Conor McGregor, he has a big following from being in octagon with. He already had a big following, but he has an even bigger following for getting in the ring with the octagon with McGregor and defeating McGregor. So it may do better this time around. Who knows? But let me know who y'all got, man. I got McGregor slightly in this fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Poirier win. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, I haven't followed Poirier career from when he lost to McGregor. I seen the fight, went back and seen the replay, but I seen a couple of Poirier fights. But I will have to see a sequence of the first fight from when he fought McGregor, and I will have to see a lot of those fights up into this fight to see how better he has gotten, because I don't know how better. I've seen a lot of McGregor fights, and has McGregor gotten any better? I don't think McGregor has gotten any better. I mean, I don't think McGregor has added anything new to his repertoire. That's if I'm gonna put it that way. He hasn't. I mean, he does what he does very well, which is a stand-up. He does it very well, but I haven't seen him add anything new. That's why I said if he fight Khabib, I haven't seen anything new to tell me that he's gonna bring anything, a new wrinkle to the Khabib fight. And could McGregor have plateaued and he don't have anything new to offer this second fight with Poirier, and have Poirier added enough to his game to overcome the first fight. Because like I said, in that first round, the fight was competitive. Like I said, Poirier was landing some good shots. He landed a real good straight right hand down the pipe on McGregor. McGregor ate it, but McGregor caught him with, like I said, McGregor caught him with that hook, because McGregor is more fluid in the ring. He's like Nate Diaz. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys in the UFC can use their hands. Oh, and Max Holloway. A lot of the guys in the UFC can use their hands, but it's a fluidity that you have with your hands that can get you over the top of other guys, even though they're really good with their hands. If you have a certain fluidity and a certain rhythm with your punches, they just get there a whole lot quicker, a whole lot crisp. McGregor is one of the most he's a really good striker as far as precision with his punches. He can punch pretty good. Like if you see that fight where he beat Eddie Alvarez for the title, that's when he became champ. When he beat Eddie Alvarez, he hit him with like 3 or 4 punches before Eddie Alvarez hit the ground. That's the fluidity I'm talking about, to where it's just muscle memory. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't really thinking about those punches. Those punches just came out. They just came out like water. You know, like Bruce Lee say, flow like water. They just came out like a flow. You know what I'm saying? A nice little flow. And that's when he finished off Eddie Alvarez. Go look at that fight. You'll see what I'm talking about that finish. I think he first hit him with a left hand. No, was it a jab, left hand, uppercut, and then another left, something like that. It was something crazy. Those memory of being put to sleep is going to be a hard thing to overcome for Dustin. I think tensions are fair is going. He didn't really put Dustin to sleep. He hit him with a nice shot. Dustin went down, and you know, when you down and the guy's punching you, if the referee don't see no punches coming back, he gonna start the fight. He didn't put him to sleep. I mean, he wasn't unconscious. But you're right, he did beat Poirier, and like I'm saying, can he come back? Can he compartmentalize that loss versus Conor McGregor and believe that he's gotten better? Now, like I said, he might have gotten better, but do he believe that he's gotten better to put it to this fight? And I haven't seen Conor McGregor get better since, like I said, Conor McGregor does what he does, and he does it very well, but I haven't seen Conor McGregor add anything or lift his game up, you know what I'm saying, since I've been seeing him. Like I said, he does very well with his hands, but he has a flaw. We all know he has a flaw, and that's getting put down. That's his Achilles heel. A guy that can handle himself on the ground, that's going to be Conor McGregor's Achilles heel every time. If a guy knows what he's, you know what I'm saying, what he's doing down there. But like I said, man, I'm gonna get on up out of here. Go ahead. All love from Ireland, brother. I love checking out people, analysts, fights, and breakdown. Oh, you from Ireland, Michael? That's cool. You from Ireland? Yeah, like I said, I have to give Conor McGregor the edge because he won the first fight. Like I said, the mental warfare in anything you do, especially a combat sport, it's huge. When you know you beat a guy the first time, you have a lot of confidence. You know what I'm saying? We know Conor McGregor has a lot of confidence. Conor McGregor has a lot of confidence, a lot of bravado, and him going into the fight knowing that he already beat Dustin Poirier, that gives him an extra oomph. Now, Dustin Poirier I'm not saying Dustin Poirier is not confident, but he has to go into the fight and understand and overcome the first time he lost to Conor McGregor, the first fight. Like if he can't overcome that, it will paralyze him when he get in the ring mentally, and then he will not be able to do what he wants to do, because he already admitted in the first fight that he wanted to tear off Conor McGregor's head so bad because Conor McGregor was talking trash. We all know Conor McGregor talks trash before, you know, most fights, except for the Donald Cerrone fight, Cowboy Donald Cerrone fight. He was acting kind of nice to Donald Cowboy Cerrone, which I was surprised because they had already had words like 3 or 4 years prior to that. Donald Cowboy Cerrone. You remember when everybody was sitting up there? They had a lot of fighters sitting up there. Dana White was talking about all the fights that's going to happen in it, you know what I'm saying, that year and whatever. But he was telling Donald Cowboy that he will come up there and beat guys at his weight division because all he sees is a bunch of guys that are stiff. So, and I'm like, man, he ain't gonna beat no Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Cowboy may be a little bit too big for him, but hey, he dominated Cowboy. But let me get out of here, y'all, man. Thanks for coming through, Michael Brian. Thanks for coming through, man. I'm gonna get up out of here. Peace.